Hey everyone. So we wanted to mention that before we get into this week's episode, we wanted to say that this in particular episode is dedicated to the lives of Sam Norquist, who was targeted, abused, and murdered within the last few weeks, along with Tahari Broom, who too was a victim of senseless harm. May both of their memories be a blessing for loved ones, and may it move us into righteous action for their justice and the justice of trans people everywhere. We also want to take a moment to say that we love and appreciate all of those of you who continue to show us and show up in their authentic bodies, and to remember that we will always love and celebrate you for being who you are. We love you for real. Thanks for listening. The Black Fat Femme Podcast is a production of iHeartRadio and Dr. John Paul, LLC. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Black Fat Femme Podcast, where all the intersections of identity are celebrated. My name is John, also known as Dr. John Paul, and in a world where gas is too high and eggs are 11 doll heads, I am so grateful and thankful to have you, Joho, by my side. Hey them.
Hey them. Won't they do it?
Yes, won't they do it? Yes. Whoever is up there. How are you, my queen?
Oh my God. Well, fam, it is your favorite delectable and delicious Oreo Joho. And at first, let me say because the ones that why the outside, but criminally inside. Because people be out here confusing me with perpetrating, and I'm not. Yeah. Do not confuse me. I am not Richard Dolezal. Not in the streets.
Look,
don't do me like her. I am black. I am black. Yeah, black. Yes. Black. Okay, black, check the car,
black
girl.
Down, house down.
Check
boom.
the attitude, girl. Okay, yes. Let me tell you right now. Today, I was I was taken by surprise by. My white neighbor whom I love so much. Yeah. But they had said hello. And I said, who the fuck? And I was like, oh, girl. I said, girl, I am black. So I really was like, who the fuck was that? My bad.
Who is this talking to me?
Yes. Who the fuck? I was like, let me calm down. Because you don't catch me off guard, girl. It will not be cute.
Correct.
So I have to say, first of all, the eggs, wild in these streets. Now, for all you who was fighting for this administration, I thought you all promised that eggs would be cheaper. And here we are paying. I was out here at Trader Joe's. I found eggs for $5 and I was gagged. First of all, I was like, $5? What a steal. But then also I was like, wait, they're available? And people, the cashier legit was like, girl, you're lucky you found these eggs, because let me tell you right now, we've been sold out every day by like 2 p.m. And I was like,
wow,
that is a wild. For eggs, like for some eggs, y'all wild as hell. And not to be honest, y'all, the urge to associate these days is strong.
It's real deep, real deep.
There are days where I'm like, this may be my 13th, 14th, 15th, and 20th, 26th reason. Like, today might be the day. Yeah. But, experiencing the world through our lens, John, has never felt more important than now. Right. And I am grateful that we get to do this. Because even amidst the pain of this year, it's only 2 months into the year. Yeah, doing this with you is simultaneously healing, and I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah, I too, and so I think it's. I mean, we've almost been doing this for almost at this point 3 years, and I think it's really cool to be able to know that. Like I said this in our pre-meeting. I said I think it is so cool that I have this to look forward to. Like, yeah, my week may be up and down, and there might be a lot of really terrible things that are happening. But it's really cool that I get to like come and laugh and be in community with you, both in person and not, right? Like I know we record virtually a lot, but there are times like next week we'll be together, in a few weeks after that we'll be together again. And so it's really nice to know that, I have you. I always tell people there is no Black Fat Femme show without Joho. Like there is no Black Fat Femme for me without you. And I mean, I'm sure you've already read your book, but in the acknowledgments, I acknowledge you probably third or fourth, because you have been like a sister to me these last 3 years. And so it's just, I mean, we've known each other for almost 10 years, but I say that to say, doing this on the air with you every week has been literally the highlight of my week. So really, really grateful that I get to do this with you and experience this life with you. So with that being said, y'all already know what it is. This week in our Still Here category, we are going to give the one and only Miss Tisha Campbell. And yes, we are still on the mission to get Tisha on this show. We're going to get her on this show.
Girl, come on the show with us, please.
Yes, we're going to get her on the show. But this week we're going to give her flowers. And I wanted to ask you the question since we are getting ready, I mean, this is the last week of Black History Month. Well, when this episode comes out, it'll be the last week of Black History Month. I wanted to end, and really talk about it from the rights and the whites, considering they continue to try to take them away from us. Our rights, the whites are continuing to try to do this. I wanted to really ask a question that is really going to posit us in terms of celebration of what it means to be us. And so this week I wanted to ask, since we didn't have a chance to explore this a couple of weeks ago because we ran out of time, who or what moments from this month or even this year so far have made you so damn proud to be Black? I will say for me, I know many of you are probably going to expect that I'm going to say Beyonce's winning, Artist of the Year, which is just a given. Obviously, I'm going to always, anytime Beyonce wins anything, I'm literally going to be up in arms, in terms of joy and celebrating her, because that's just who I am, and I'm always be that girl. But what I'm actually going to talk about is probably something y'all may not know has happened, or may not even know that is going to be the thing that tickled me to death this month. So I wanted to talk about what made me so damn proud to be Black was the moment when Janelle Monáe was performing before the Grammys. And she screamed out, "Fuck you, Nelly," because he performed at the inauguration. So there was an iteration of Hot in Here that was actually being played with one of their songs. And when they got to like the bridge of Hot in Here, they basically was just calling out Nelly. I forget all of the terms and things that they were saying, but they basically was calling them out for basically performing and taking the money from, the right. And so it just tickled me because I definitely think like it makes me happy that people don't get lost in what I call lost in the sauce in this industry, right? It's so easy for you to like bite your tongue, or for you to not take a side, or for you not to use your platform to say something about the injustice that's happening. And for Janelle Monáe to be in a room full of all of these executives and to basically give Nelly the middle finger for what he did and hold him accountable for that, it makes me so happy. And that is exactly why I love Janelle Monáe. So what was yours?
I live and I love. Oh, and I laugh. I live, laugh, and love. Go out now.
Live, laugh, love. My God.
The whites did the big one on that one. Live, laugh, love.
Yeah.
So for me, I must say, and I'm gonna be sappy for a moment, y'all. But seeing the press for there's this book coming out called Black Fat Femme.
Oh God.
Revealing the power of visibly queer voices in media and how to love yourself. A marvelous book that comes out March 25th. You can find Marshall Nobles or anywhere you may get a book. And kicks off the tour. Event at the Plus in Los Angeles. It's written by, what's their name? The incomparable,
I think
DoctorJonPaul.
Yes, God. Yeah.
So it just, in this moment makes me proud to be Black because I'm literally witnessing Black history be made in real time with a front row ticket. You can't buy this, girl, okay? Because let me tell you, I did not buy my sweet honey bugging tickets for Giselle, and I love her. Okay, so I get to live my my hot down hoedown with John. Right, John's a legend. An icon, and they are the moment. Now come on now.
Yes.
This makes me proud to be Black every day, but truly seeing people give you the love that I've known that you deserve is really just so special. I see people have got the book in their hands already, but like seeing it, like when I saw the picture of it in that person's hand, I was like, this is Black history. I saw someone today with a shirt that I thought of you about it when I saw the shirt. Their shirt says, "For as long as I am Black, I am historical and I am history." And like, John, you are living, breathing history in real time. It is okay.
Yeah. I said the same thing to Travell this week too. So it's.
I mean, listen, who are friends, but if not mirrors of each other,
right?
If not two mirrors of history making people in the same room, like truly.
Right. Yeah. That feels really good. I appreciate you saying that. And I don't do well with, compliments is something I struggle with. So I'm always like feeling a little shy, but I have my friend Kyle. Kyle is a listener of the show. Shout out to you, Kyle. They texted me the other week and was like, girl, you better continue to, if people are tired of tired of hearing, you talk about this book. Oh, the fuck well, keep pushing it. And so I was like, okay,
because they are not on the check, so they need to no.
So
people
I appreciate
I'm tired of this.
you,
girl. Go get tired somewhere else, okay?
Yeah,
you tired, bitch?
Go get tired.
Take a nap. Take a nap. Wake up and buy the book, bitch. Okay?
That part, yeah, but no. And so I'm trying to, I'm trying to balance, the what's the word I'm looking for, like the humble, the humility around
you can
this,
be humble,
but
that's
also
great. I'll brag for you.
But also I appreciate when again, I appreciate being seen. And like I said last night, in a post on social media, I said the same thing. I said, in this time where the world is working actively to erase us, not just me, us, as a people, it's just nice to be in spaces and places with people who are like, no, I got you. We're gonna do what we need to do to make sure that you're good and that you get to where you want to go. And so I say all of that just to say this week I'm really coming to the episode, and you'll probably hear it show up in another way, but this week I'm really coming to the episode very just appreciative and really just trying to take the time to just take in kind of, my husband says this all the time, like, you need to be more grateful, not grateful, but you're doing a lot of good work and you need to give yourself more credit. And so I think for me this week, between the book, between the podcast, between, the fact that we won an award last year, like all of those things I'm really taking in this weekend. I'm just kind of going, okay, we're doing what we're doing, and it's going to make a difference, whether it makes a difference now or whether it makes a difference later. Like you said, it is still Black history, and I'm really fucking with that. So with that being said, now that we have made our ancestors smile once again, we're going to take a break. And when we get back, we're going to jump into the category. More in a second.
All right, fam, we are black and back. And considering the message we share at the top of the show, John and I want to do more than just talk about the issues that trans folks face,
right,
and dive deeper into a conversation that we've both been hearing since the man who should not be named has taken office. Mm-hmm. We know that there are many folks who are terrified to be in the U.S., and there are folks who also don't have the ability or privilege to leave.
Right.
And there's been a conversation around Black, trans, non-binary folks fleeing to quote-unquote blue states. However, no one talks about what it's actually like to live in said state.
I know that.
Now, to be clear, before we start the conversation, we don't want to overgeneralize at all, right? Like we are two Californians who don't speak on behalf of the entire state, but there's a consensus we do see in our circles and among our other marginalized folks that California isn't as blue as it purports it to be. And let's be honest, 40% of the state was not blue at all in this past election.
Now let's talk about it.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And we even experienced it ourselves. So I want to begin by asking, when was the first time that you realized that California ain't always sunny in California?
That it ain't always sunny. So I wrote down in our show flow the first time I was called a nigger, and seriously, I you would think growing up, right, in SoCal that I might have been called a nigger a lot of times, but I had never, up until the time that I did get called the N-word, I had never really, people had said it as like a general thing, and people had made monkey sounds and had done all of like the racist shit that, every Black person kind of deals with whenever, because I lived in an area that was predominantly white, right? And so, and they were poor white, but they were still white. And so all of that to say, I had never had anyone directly to my face call me the N-word. And so I wanted to talk about it in my book, but I didn't, because it would have taken my book it would have taken the chapter a totally different way. But I did note that, the first time I got called a nigger, I guess I'll note it here, was when I was at San Diego Pride. And so I want you to kind of unpack those layers, right? So I'm in a city that is I mean, a city that is basically queer friendly per se. I'm putting quotations around that for folks who are listening to the episode, not watching. They're queer friendly, right? We're in Hillcrest, everyone's having a good time, and the parade is happening, and it's me and it's another friend of mine at the time who was Black. Well, we're not friends now, but I say all that to say at the time we were friends. And we were standing in a certain spot on the sidewalk, and there was a group of white queers coming towards us. And, they wanted us to move. And me and my friend at the time were like, no, go around or figure out a different way to get through here. But we're not moving because we want to keep our spot for the parade. And that's when we got caught the N-word, because we wouldn't move. And so it's like I said, the layers of it, right, of being in a city, being in a state where it's supposed to be safe, but also like never really feeling safe. And I think that that's also something too. We talked about this in past episodes. I'm the generation, like I saw the Rodney King stuff happen in real time because at the time my family lived in Compton, right? I was actually there when the riots broke out. And so even that, and then having friends like Patrice, whose brother was murdered by LAPD. Like there are all of these very coded things that tell you that even though you're from SoCal, you're still not as safe as you think, right? And so like, and again, I know I'm talking a lot about color, but I'm also talking about like, there are moments too where like, so we can't not talk about the sundown town. So I mentioned Highland a lot. I talk a lot about Redlands. I talk a lot about Yucaipa. I know you've even mentioned that even in San Diego County, that there are sundown towns, right? And so when you even talk about being Black and queer in Hollywood or Black and queer in Beverly Hills, or even going to the Abbey, like all of the stories that I could share with you about my experience at the Abbey, and that's West Hollywood, again, another city that purports itself to be inclusive because of the number of queer people who live there. But yeah, I have had run-ins with people there that have challenged me both as a Black person and as a queer person and as a fat person, right? So like, it's just that. So like, I mean, kind of to start the conversation off, I think like, yes, this conversation is nuanced, and I appreciate you uplifting that we're not making a general sweep, but I definitely want people to listen to this and hear it and go, when we make that general statement that California is just this blue and happy place, yeah, I'm happy to live here, but it ain't always roses, But what about you, love?
Life ain't never been no crystal stairs in California, okay?
Chapter 1, but go off.
Listen. And so in my peripheral experience, I feel like I've known since I was younger, in some ways, all the times, like, people thought my dad wasn't my dad, or people would ask me if I was okay or if I was safe when I was with him, right? Like, people had like racially biased and charged questions that they thought were for my safety, but like what it actually created was like more confusion of like, should I not feel safe with my dad? And and I may not have felt safe for other reasons, but not because he's Black,
right?
Like, I may not
your dad was a man of the streets. I know,
okay, because man was in the streets, like, but not because he was Black. Like that's
I love it.
Okay, like
yeah,
and so and I think a lot of time was a time when I was younger where my brother was attacked and arrested for being attacked by a racist shop owner, and this was in San Francisco. Like this was in a place where like he would like that he grew up in, that he would have never thought that was gonna happen. So I always knew it was possible, but I always knew that it was possible that people like that existed in these places. But I also thought it was like an isolated incident as well too. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, oh, like this happens once in a while, but it's not like a systemic issue that I see often.
Right.
But when I moved to San Diego, I realized, oh no,
it's everywhere.
Much more of the state is red than I thought.
It is.
It's giving purple. A bruise, a bruise, if you will, a bruise to the country.
Yes.
So moving here is when I realized actually at large that people are in fact racist, homophobic, transphobic, fatphobic. And the bubble of my life, that my childhood was popped when I moved here because, I think so much of SoCal is rooted in conservatism as well.
Yeah.
So I think that also contributes as to why, versus I think like, I think parts of NorCal is rooted in the idea of, I think there's more values of freedom there. I think, right, when you think of like the creation of the Bay Area, especially as like an immigrant forward place, like I think it was created in that way, versus SoCal. I think a lot of people who were conservative moved there quickly and began just doing nasty things. But yeah, so I'll just say I think the first time I really realized that California was, not always sunny was when I had my first group of white friends here in the region, when I realized that people do not in fact look like me around, and realizing that people thought they were more privy to asking really personal questions about your upbringing.
Yeah.
Like, no one asked me where I was from up in the Bay. Like, no one asked me where I was from. Like, we all knew we were all from someplace else in the world, or here. Like, we all knew that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was asked so many times here, like, where are you from?
Yeah.
And me being like, oh, the Bay Area. No, but like,
where are you really from?
Where are you really from? And I'm like, Northern California. They're like, where's your family from? And then you tell them, and they're like, I knew it. I'm like, oh, so now you know exactly who I am because of that. Like, it's just, anyway, so.
It's funny because a long time ago, there was a moment where me and a friend, it was me, a friend, and my partner, we were shopping, and the store owner did exactly that to me. It was very much, where are you from? Like, and again, and this isn't like, we were in like the Studio City area. We were in LA when that happened. And so having that moment where it's like, girl, I know what you're trying to ask. Like, you really want to know if I'm truly Black. So you know how to treat me, and you know how to up these prices, because that's literally what also happens too that people don't want to talk about. When you're a marginalized person, I think. So I'll say this before I ask the next question. I think the real moment for me when I realized that, and I've said this in different iterations throughout the show. I've said, I think there is this belief, especially here in SoCal, but I think in general for Black people. Maybe you can say, maybe you agree to this, maybe you don't. But I think that there's the idea that if you work hard and you get money and you get quote unquote nice things, that your life will somehow become easier. And I think living here in SoCal, I think the real first time that it really hit me that no matter how much money I had, no matter how many degrees I had, no matter what I did, the fact that people know who I am, even sometimes when I'm just walking around, people, oh, that's Dr. John Paul. That was never going to quote unquote change. I was still going to be a Black person first, and then queer and all the other things, was when me and Jonathan started going through the process to buy a home. Like, that was the first time that it really hit me that I was like, oh shit, these people, they're making all of these assumptions about where my money's coming from. They want to know where my money's coming from.
Yeah.
Because, and then also too, like, they're giving me a hard time about wanting to live here because I'm now a Black person living in this area that is predominantly white, in SoCal. So, and it's the same thing. We see it in Orange County. We see it in LA. Redlining. I mean, we can talk for hours about how much LA is redlined. And again, if you go and listen to our old Altadena episode, I think that's like episode 133 or episode 134, we talk about why Altadena became the Altadena that it is. And so anyway, all that to say, before I get into much of a tangent, I love hearing you talk about your experience, because as much as me and you, we have moments, when we're putting our shows together and when we're on the mic, we go, oh, we have the same experience. I never really realized that you get the same questions that I get about the, where are you from and who you are. And so that just, it grounds me more in loving and being like, yeah, I love talking to my sis. But I did want to ask you, and I want to ask from your vantage point, why do you think people paint California to be such a liberal place? And what do you think causes people not to speak out about the violence they experience here in SoCal? Because I find that too. I find a lot of people have a lot of injustice and they, for whatever reason, don't talk about it.
Yeah. So it's interesting. And that question, when I saw the show, I was like, oh, this is a really fascinating question, because I really had like a immediate thought of the first part, but the second part was like, oh, the violence part was interesting. But I think partially to the why it's been such a liberal place is because, like, the two largest metro areas, right, are historically extremely diverse. Like SF and LA, right? People flocked to these cities and built queer, Black, and brown enclaves when white flight brought people to suburbs, right?
Right.
Then gentrification has come back. because the whites miss being able to walk to the markets or bodegas. The whites are like, you know what? I actually do miss walkability,
right?
And I don't.
I want to run with my doggy.
And
yes.
So they're like, let me back into the home that I was renting 25 years ago for no reason. Like, no, you know, right? It's very, very, very colonial, and I mean, like, that's obviously an oversimplification, but and you know, and I mean to be funny, but I think California has had really great PR people to frame it that way, right? Right? You know, like California employs a great PR team. In the state,
they work overtime.
The governor's office is working hard. Okay,
yes.
You know, and I will say, I do believe that we do, for as Black Fit Femmes, have much more legal protections than BFFs in other states, and so
we do.
I don't think that California is seen as a liberal place without good reason. So, and you know, but I wish people understood that legal protections are in place after an altercation or bad experience, and they're not meant to be they're not meant for prevention.
Right.
So recognize, right, that the state isn't immune to pervasive experiences that harm people in the moment. We're just more likely to receive some sort of resolution legally. And to some people, right, that is life-saving, and to others it's not. And so I think your question about why people not speak about the violence they experience is because I think in some cases, people get resolution or justice through the legal forms, right? When people are speaking about their experiences in other states, it's because there also has not been a legal process that has actually benefited them either. And so I think, you know, so I want to name and honor that like, while things are not perfect in any way, we do have more going for us. I think people flock here because they know that, like, I think people are willing to deal with some social bullshit if they know the law, like they know that they're protected in legal ways from very real harms, right? Yeah. And so I think I think that's a part of it. Yeah. From my perspective.
Yeah. So again, never thought about it from that perspective either. So I love that you mentioned that. I was also going to say, to your point too, like, I did a training this week, a Know Your Rights training for work, and I was telling the kids that are kids, they were teenagers or teenagers / they were between the ages of like 18 to 22. I had basically told them at that training, I had said, please keep in mind that yes, these rights and these things are here in California for you, but to also keep in mind that they don't have to, if you get the right person on the right day who truly wants to help you, you have rights.
Because the laws are made to be fair. Like, it's not made to be fair. It's, you know, if you know how to use it, it can be. But if you don't, it can also really screw you over too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I want to also, like, for folks who are listening, right, and who are saying that, like, that is a point that people are making, that yes, there are a lot of protections here, but let's keep in mind that you can only be protected if the people who are doing the protecting really want to protect you. But if they are racist, or if they have, you know, isms that they're working through, right, they can send you through all the hoops that they want to make sure that you don't get the care that you deserve.
Can I just that point, right? I just want to shout out the organizations, like nonprofits in the state, who also do work to know your rights, because I think to that point, right, like, you may have to rely on a lawyer, and that lawyer may have your best interest at heart. Right. But these organizations who do know your rights workshops can actually help equip you with the tools you need to know your rights, because I think a lot about like brand time or ICE raids are affecting people like on huge levels. And I think, like, I'm sure, like, many people in some of those states, like Texas, may not have the education, right? Like to prevent ICE from coming into the schools or to their homes, or or to stand up to ICE agents. Right. But here in California, we have a lot of organizations that are doing their rights workshops that like, you actually don't have to answer that question from ICE. You actually don't have to let them into your workplace or school. You actually don't owe them a roster of students in your school who may or may not be undocumented, right? Like, and so we are I appreciate that there is a lot of like citizen empowerment, to know the law yourself and not have to rely on like people of the law, because damn well most people of the law do not want to use the law to help you. They want to use the law against you. So if you can be of the law yourself and learn yourself, you can cover a lot more. You can cover a lot more ass sometimes that way. For yourself.
And I would say this, I think for people, so we're kind of getting towards the tail end of this convo, but I was going to say, I think it is behoove. I saw a meme today of a horse. So I'm jumping out of my seriousness. Someone said they felt like that horse every time they used the word behoove.
So stop. Behoove. Hey, behoove.
Stupid. But anyway, because that's how my mind works. That I have a touch of autism. So I'll be all over the place anyway. But anyway, I'm gonna say all that to say, I think this is a really good time for me to say, like, as we're kind of winding this convo down, if for folks who are listening to this pod and are saying, oh, I'm going to make the jump to go live in LA, or I'm going to make the jump to go to San Diego, or even SoCal, Riverside, the IE, San Diego, whatever, right? If you're thinking about that, right, I would say, one of the big pieces of advice, and this is something that I also tell people too, when they ask me, like, why, because someone at dinner last night, someone turned to me and said, you talk a lot of shit about New York on your podcast. Why wouldn't you ever leave? And I told them, I said, as much shit as I talk about other states and specifically New York, love my friends who live in New York. I want to make sure that I make that very clear, that I love y'all. New York is just not for me. But I was going to say, I understand the racism, the homophobia. Like, I understand all of that here. And I'm not at a place in my big age now where I want to go through relearning that in another city or in another state, and having to figure out what protections I have. Like, at least here in California, I know what the protections are because I've done my research, and I've been working for a nonprofit for almost 5 years that has told me time and time again, these are the rights that you need to go out into the community and tell people, right? So it helps me to know that. But I would tell people, if you are thinking about moving to LA or you're thinking about moving to Cali, I would take a gander to the interwebs and I would Google the history of just to start, the history of police violence, not just from the LAPD, but look at San Bernardino Police Department. Look at the stuff that has happened in San Diego. I would look at documentaries like LA 92 that really helps you understand why Crenshaw looks the way that it does, right? That helps you understand why people call Baldwin Hills the black, the black Beverly Hills. Why that, like, that's going to give you some kind of headway of understanding, as much as people paint, like you said, that PR piece, people paint LA and California to be such this beautiful place, but there's a lot of hate here. I mean, I mentioned, a love song for Latasha. That they're both on Netflix. But I even think about, like, I don't know if you heard about this a couple of, years ago. I don't know if you remember, but right around the time that we both were, when I was working at Long Beach and you were living / working at Long Beach with me, there was this encampment that was on the 57. So for those of you who don't live in Southern California, we have a multitude of different freeways. And one of the main freeways to get in and out of basically the Long Beach area is the 57. You have to take the 57 to the 22. Well, the 57 had an encampment. It was a massive encampment of houseless people living there. And I guess the city of Anaheim was trying to figure out, what do we do with these people who are living in this encampment? And everybody in Anaheim voted against it. They were like, we don't want these people in our neighborhoods. We don't want these encampments here. And so the encampment moved. I still to this day don't know where the encampment is. But I'm just saying, like, yes, we're this place of, we're in a, the only thing I keep saying is safety is relative here. Safe, like, you may feel like you have rights, but I think, like you said, it's PR. People want you to believe that you're safer here in California, and in reality, you might be if you have the complexion for protection, or you're not queer. But if you are marginalized in any capacity here, you still run the gamut that there's going to be some form of hatred you're going to experience while living here. And so I felt it was so important for us to have this convo because obviously, right, I think the reason what made me want to have this convo was thinking about what happened to Sam, and everyone saying that happened in a blue state. It happened in New York. And so, like, there's this kind of a miseducation of what safety truly looks like for queer and Black people in quote unquote blue states. And I just felt like we really needed to touch on
I mean, that's so real because let's be honest. All a blue state means or a red state means is majority of those people who voted that thing, right?
Right.
That's not kind of people who did not vote, not kind of people who may do some fucked up things. Like, all it means is that the majority of people who voted, who are eligible to vote and who want to vote, voted in that way. That's all it means.
Yeah.
Like, there are people of all sides of good and evil, and we all have capacity for both. And some people choose to use their power for evil and such. And so I think, I think you're absolutely right. Safety is relative, and I want to underscore your point you made about like why people choose to live here in other places. Like one of my closest friends in the world, she has 2 daughters, and she was telling me like for a while her family were thinking about moving to a different state, and she was like, I think we're gonna stay here because because I want my daughters to have the option to have an abortion. Like, and and this friend, like she likely would like never have one herself. I don't think she would believe in doing it for herself, but she wants her daughters to have the option because here they do, right? And that, like to me, like I'm like, wow, like what an amazing parent, right? Like even if she may not align with that herself as a person, as a parent, she's like, my kids, I want them to have the right to choose what they want to do with their body, and I cannot do that in other states. Right. And I think that and it's also sad that she's like, so I'm going to make it work to live here in this state that is still not the best because my kids have the most rights and such, that's, I did not know that about Anaheim, but you know what though? Like, babes, if anyone's listening to this, babes, if you want to go to Southern California, don't do the OC, babes.
Don't.
It's a red state in and of itself, love.
Yes,
don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Please do Los Angeles, do LBC, do San Diego, do the Bay Area, but don't do the OC and don't do the Central Valley, my love.
Don't do it, babe.
I'm just saying. Yes. If people listening to this are like, how dare you tarnish our names? I said what I said because nope. Could not pay me to live in the OC, loves. Nope. I also want a second.
I'm laughing because I just titled the episode "Don't Do It, Babe."
Don't do it, babes. Don't do it, babes. Just put this soundbite there. Don't do it, babes.
Don't do it, babes. Don't do it, babes.
And I'll second your point of research. Like, find organizations that reflect your identity in the cities that you're looking to move. Right? Yeah. Like if you are a Black fat femme, right? That's real. Look for a Black pride in that city that you want to look for, right? Look if you're a queer bitch who loves to cook, find yourself who are the queer people who love to cook in the city where you live, and find out, do they look like you or not? What areas do they cover? What is the living experience like for those folks? Don't just look at like a demography map and be like, this place looks cool, people look happy. But they're all but they're all white folks within folks or non-Black folks, or non-queer folks. Go find the places, organizations that represent who you want, what community you want to be a part of.
That part. Because,
for example, like if you're a BFF, you may not want to move to WeHo or Pico Robertson.
Absolutely not.
You may want to find Long Beach or Echo Park as a better place.
And I would even say you may even want to pause on Long Beach because Long Beach got a little bit of anti-Blackness too. But we can talk about that another day.
Oh, not my alma mater. Not my don't come from my alma mater.
Did I lie?
Did you fucking lie?
Did I fucking
lie? Listen. Yes. Listen, there are enclaves, and if y'all try to move to Long Beach, you holler at Joho, and I will tell you where to go, because I know the places where you can go, places in which you should not. But look up, don't just look up a place and see what it has in the city. Look up who runs the city, who is in the city, what do they do, because that's how you'll actually get to know whether you'll love a place, right? Like I know so many folks who moved to San Diego, and they moved to I won't shit on cities here, but they moved to a northern part of the county.
What's the hill one? What they say, name names or keep it on the playground. So they move over to what? What's it called? College Hill?
No, what we're not going to do is try and get me canceled on these streets, bitch. Not today, Satan. No, they moved to the northern part of the fucking county.
Northern part, yes.
The
You
county.
said they was over there.
Okay.
Yes.
Over the hills, over the mountains, over the Mars, all the places and spaces. And then they sit there and they're like, girl, I hate it here. And I'm like, that's because you live in that place. That place is not for you, girl. Unfortunately, beloved, the place is not going to be for you right now. Find a new place. You should have came here to this place instead, or if you can't come this place. So yes, I think in any city you can find your community of people, but that requires more work and energy that people don't have. So look for the places that you might actually love to be in and see who is there. Holler at those organizations, follow them on social media, connect with them, see hey, if I want to move here, how would you? I have people message me and say, hey, I've had folks who have been like, I want to move to San Diego. I love doing this XYZ stuff. Do you think this is a good place for me? And I would say, listen, girl, it is not my job to tell you what is good or good, what is not good or good for you. What I can tell you is if you like these things, does it have it? Yes. Is it diverse? Yes. Or no. And I will be honest with you with saying, I know I didn't find this when I moved here, but I know it's here now. But be informed by the decisions you want to make, y'all.
To your point, Joho, if you're moving here, do a fuck ton of research.
Yeah.
Please. Because just because it's California doesn't mean it's safe. I just want to make that very clear that nowhere in the U.S. is safe for us, period.
Okay.
And even the safety numbers lie. There was a study a couple of years ago that said Loma Linda was ranked as one of the safest cities in California. And my ass was like, safe for who? Because whenever I'm out in Loma Linda, I don't feel safe out there. Right?
I know Loma or Linda. Okay.
Right. So the real question is who needs to be, who the real thing here is, we need to be asking the question, safety is relative, to what, to your identity. What does safety mean for you? Is it safety from the Black side of you? Is it safety from your queerness? Is it safety for your idea of being a cis woman or a trans woman? We really need to start interrogating what safety means. And it's not to say, like I said, part of me wants to tell you not to move here because I'm sick and tired of traffic, but I also understand why people move here. So I want to make sure I make that very clear and that I'm not telling y'all, don't come to California because it's terrible. No, I get it. It's a little bit better than other places. I want to make sure that I acknowledge that. But what I'm also saying is that when we talk about safety, most of the time, safety is often meant for white cis people. Okay. So that's the thing I really want to hit kind of home on, is that the reality is that even in safety, there's a chance to get help and to feel better about your lived experiences. But know that racism, homophobia, and trash people are everywhere. And they are doing everything right now that they can to get rid of us. And so I just felt like I felt like we couldn't kind of put a bow on this conversation without saying that this conversation right now is a conversation for BFFs to interrogate what safety means. And when people say, "Oh, this place is safe," who is it safe for? Who are we naming in that? So that's literally what I'm left with.
Whew. So now that we have given y'all some homework before you pack your bags up from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and try to head west, y'all need to reflect, and we need to pay some bills to fix these roads for you by the time you get here, because we know them drivers be wilding. So we make sure that you have a safe runway for your plane and a safe road for your tires. We'll be back in just a jiff.
All right, y'all. So we are back. So earlier this week, I was on a live with a peer of mine. Shout out to my homie, Mark Travis Rivera, who hosts the show, The Shift. And they had asked me a question that I was like, oh, this is perfect for us to talk about. Because on the show, I didn't really have a lot of time to really delve into it the way I wanted to. And so for this week's Go Love Yourself, I was like, let me just ask that question here. And, and me and Joe can kind of get into a kiki about it. The question that was asked to us is, how are we fighting the urge to want to tuck ourselves away in a moment right now where it feels hella scary to be your authentic self? And so I want to ask you, Joho, what are you doing, or what are you what steps, what things do you take into consideration? What ways are you helping to kind of hold yourself to accountability of being your authentic self in a moment where, being us just ain't easy? And so I know I want to say here that I do realize that this conversation may overlap with stuff we've talked about in the past, but I want to acknowledge that when we talked about The authenticity we probably talked about in 2022 and 2023 is not the authenticity we are talking about in 2025. And so I want to make sure that I make that very clear that yes, this may be the same question, or this may even be something you've heard on a past episode, but I want folks to acknowledge that we are in a very, very different time, and that it is it's harder. That I want to acknowledge to anybody to be authentically anything that's not white or cis at this point in time is hard. And so, I think for me, before I throw it to you, the way I've been saying I'm taking accountability for my authenticity is really reminding myself that I didn't fight this hard to get this far, and then to turn around and go back to being scared to love this, right? Like, we've all worked so hard to get to a place where we like our nails, and we like the femininity, and we like our body size, and we like the way we look in a mirror. And so I tell myself, girl, like, bitch, like, there are days where I'm like, do I take these nails off because I just don't feel like? No. No, you take your black ass down to that nail shop and get that feel, because you've worked too hard to get comfortable in those nails. And I think that's the thing that has really been keeping me, right, is that that even when we are scared, that we're you were scared when you were tucked away, and you were scared when you're not. So you might as well not. And so I kind of put this thing in this notion of, like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And I think for me, I'd rather be damned if I do. And so I think that's the thing I keep telling myself is, like, if they're going to come for you, make sure that your nails are done right.
Okay.
What about you, love?
Because if I'm going to be in fear, bitch, I'm going to be in fear fabulous.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
And also because if you come for me, girl, these nails are I have 10 knives on my hands, girl.
Very sharp.
I will come back with a vengeance.
Very
Do not
sharp.
try me. I was questioning because I told myself, no, I committed to myself that if the administration was going to be what it was, and it is, then I was going to live more audaciously, radically open than ever. I told myself that I'm going to exist in spite of what's happening around me, and to spite what's happening around me, because I refuse to exist, because I refuse to exist like in fear. I refuse to exist in like in compromise. I choose to exist more visibly than ever, because I know that it is important and valuable for folks like us, who look like us, who reflect us, to show up and show out in a time that's trying to kill us. When this episode comes out in a few days, I'll just have been part of a celebration for the community that I live in, and where I was an honoree for being a quote unquote fabulous communicator.
I know that's right.
Okay, how you doing? And that means a communicator as someone, and I view communicator as someone who fights for our rights here and uses communications to uplift our community, which has been, I feel and I believe, is part of who I am. And so to me, like, I'm not tucking myself away, because I think to your point, right? Like, I was already scared in the closet. If I'm gonna stay scared, why like, being scared in the closet won't do anything for me. The least I can do for myself and my people is to be scared outside of the closet, and be scared as I get shit done. Like, nothing I do is because I feel safe doing it. I do it because if I'm gonna be scared, then I'm gonna be scared while working my hardest, so no one else has to live in fear again. I don't want people to live in fear like I am currently, or like I have before. And so to me, I am finding an urge. I have urges every day to be like, let me just, like, let me stay, let me sleep, let me not show up today in this thing. But then I'm like, no, because if I don't join the people who have done this, and what am I doing for the people who come after this? I think like Marsha and Sylvia didn't go through the shit that they went through. Real. Sylvia did not stand on a stage until all these gays have fucked themselves, right? And drag them just so I can sit back and say, I'm not gonna do that. No.
Right. Oh no, I'm not gonna do that right now because I'm afraid.
On the line, right. And I have a privilege where like likely, who's to say, because I'm not the one who decides my own checks, but like likely, I will stay in the job that I have, that I love, and feel comfortable and financially secure, so I can do these things as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Let me fight for my community with my privilege.
That's the big part of this. I want to say that too, because I know that folks have kind of, we've had conversations in the past, and folks have left us messages basically saying, y'all are coming from a place of privilege to be able to say, stay visible, stay this, when you don't live in a state or a city where you're having to deal with this stuff. So I want to acknowledge that. Like, I do want to acknowledge that a part of this idea of being authentic today does come from a place of, we live in SoCal, where we know we have rights, and we know that we have more eyes on us that are watching us and protecting us, right? But I do want to say, like, I think that there's something to be said about this idea that if you are just showing up in yourself and who you are, regardless of where you live, no matter what you're having to deal with, that is still a form of resistance. And that's what we need in order for others who come after us to be safe and to be comfortable in who they are. And so, and I'll even say this, I haven't really gone into too much detail about the thought process of my book, or the thought process of, like, me putting the specific picture I have on the front of my book, right? But I can even say right now, like, a year ago, when we were going through the schematics of what that book was going to look like, there was a part of me that was like, oh, I don't really want to put a picture on there, because I don't want my family to see that book and to be like, well, why does John have nails, and why is John dressed that way, and why is John look so feminine on the cover, right? Like, this was before, that man was in office, right? But there was a part of me that has said, again, bitch, you have worked too hard to get to this book for you to tuck yourself away and not allow yourself to be on the cover and to be proud of what you look like on that cover. And so I think about that, right? Like, that is a form of resistance for everyone who picks my book up, or, puts on their makeup, or puts their contacts in, or do whatever you do to feel like you are a part of the resistance. You are the one that is pushing back on what society is telling you can't be. And I think, for me, that's beautiful. That's what the community needs more than ever right now. And so I just felt the need to say that, because it can feel very scary right now, and you can probably be thinking, I want to protect myself, but I want to make sure that that even in the mind of protecting yourself, there's still a chance that it may not be enough. So be out there, just be. My God, just be. Okay, so now that we have reasserted that we ain't come this far to go this far, shout out to my dears over at Peloton. Y'all know who you are. We are going to take a quick break and come back with y'all's favorite segment. More in a bit. Okay, y'all. So for this week, our yes ma'am and our no ma'am Pams, we are, some of them are very, very serious, and some of them are not. But I did want to say this. So I have for this week, my yes ma'am, I wanted to shout out the press tour for Clean Slate. I have yet to jump into that show, and it's not because I don't want to watch it. I'll be transparent and saying I just have not had time to sit down and actually glue myself in, like, to lock into that show, which I that and Scam Goddess and a few other shows that I really need to catch up on. But I will say, like, I watching the press tour, it has really made me so happy to see that so many of the actors and so many people who are tied to the show have said openly, I had to do my homework to be a better person, or I had to do my homework to understand the script better, or I had to do my homework, or I had to do my own unlearning to take this role so I could be a better, ally, or a better accomplice for the trans community, specifically the Black trans community. And so I've loved watching the folks connect, the ones who are not queer specifically, and how they talk about the work that they're doing to be better to us, and to encourage other people in our community to, and I say our community, meaning the Black community, to be better to Black trans women. So I'm really excited. Like I said, I have a few things I have to get done this weekend, but I do have plans to lock into it. And I definitely just want to shout out, Laverne, for everything she's doing, to keep Black trans representation alive in an industry that is also trying to get rid of us as well. So with that being said, Joe, I need to think. I wanted to say for my no man Pam, I think, kind of to our point and we've talked about this kind of up earlier in the show, there is this, I keep hearing people say, oh, you don't need to be fearful. Stop, don't be scared. You're okay. You're in California. You'll be fine. No. I really need people to stop telling marginalized people, specifically Black queer people, not to be fearful right now, because I want to validate that we have the right to be scared, but also to keep being your amazing self. But at the same time, I want to validate that your fear is real, because that it's like it's at the front door right now. And so to those who are trying to discount it because they feel like you live in a state or you live in a place where you may have a little bit more rights than the others, just shut the fuck up. No, like I don't say that to be disrespectful, but I just go like, we right now, it's almost like when women say that they're terrified of men or cis men per se, and people jump into the comments and tell women, or guys go, I'm not a bad guy. Like, don't speak for me. I'm not a bad guy. And it's like, no one said you were a bad guy. But we're talking about is the systematic fear that women, cis women have, even trans women, my God, have of men, right? So it's the same concept. When you are a person who sits in privilege and, you know what I mean? Like, and you tell me not to be scared, when you know they're not coming for you, like, girl, shut the fuck up.
If someone gotta say I'm not a bad guy, I immediately am like, so you are a bad guy.
Right.
If you gotta tell me you're not a bad guy, girl, guess what? You're a bad guy. Like, you ain't gotta talk about it if you are about it. So let's just,
Yeah. So that's just where I'm at. Like, I'm just at a place right now where I'm tired of people telling other queer people, telling other Black queer people how they need to feel about systems that perpetually gaslight them. Like, it's the same way I watch Beauty and the Beast. I get so mad because everybody was trying to dance around Belle and trying to talk her into loving the Beast when he was keeping her against her will. He literally would not let her out of that castle. And everybody was like, you should just be so grateful to be in the castle. Bitch, shut the fuck up. She is a concubine. Let Belle go. I'm so sorry. I've done a lot of thinking. This was not
the turn I thought I was taking in this episode. Just ruined Beauty and the Beast for so many people right now. Belle was a concubine.
She was being kept against her will. Whew. And people in the city were dancing and singing around her like she was not kidnapped.
There be some wild message in these films. Like, I would never trade my voice for a man.
Hello?
But okay, Ariel, go off, sis.
Couldn't be me.
For some legs, girl, no.
Absolutely not.
So I can run. So I can run. I can't say shit.
No.
Girl, what am I gonna do with these legs now? Just march silently?
Don't nobody want to be up here anyway. Because Earth is ghetto. I would say I'd go to the ocean before I go up to Earth. I wish I could have tapped Ariel on the shoulder and said, "Girl, you don't want this.
Girl,
Stay down there. You don't want to be up here.
Girl, it's not worth it.
Keep your voice. Keep swimming."
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Okay. My no man Pam. My no man Pam is. I'm trying to be serious, but that was just funny. My no man Pam is just to. So I feel like on this Black History Month, people have stopped trying us as much. Like, and I appreciate that. No one's saying dumb shit, but also now no one's talking to us. And so I'm like, okay, actually I miss when y'all would fuck up and y'all would fuck up because at least you were trying. But now it's giving Mean Girls, like you're all the plastics and we're all Janicians, like you're not even talking to us now.
Right.
So can y'all just get together? Like, also talk to us. First of all, talk to us every day, please. Don't just talk to us in Black History Month.
Right.
Right. Get yourselves correct. And I just no man Pam to all the people who just I'm at a point where I'm just. It's like I can't help but laugh to keep from crying. All the folks who keep bodying our swag, just to use it and act like it's cool when you do it, but it's not it's just What are y'all doing? What are y'all?
I saw. Did you see that TikTok girl dancing to "They Not Like Us"? And I guess she like put her own little spin on it, and everybody's been like, "That is, yeah."
Okay, but like, okay, for example, like when I sent you the girl of singing Alter Ego but in opera, like,
yeah.
Do I love the idea? Yes. Do I need a white woman singing Alter Ego to me? No.
Right.
Girl, like, stay in your lane. Listen, I don't have traffic because I stay in my lane. Okay.
Now that is a
bars.
That is a
could you believe
fucking word? That is that okay, bars.
I'm just saying, like, if you don't want
traffic,
traffic, girl, get in your lane and stay there.
Absolutely.
Please just stop. Now, my yes man Pam is silly.
Here we go.
But it's going to the traders because this show, I know every week Alan Cumming is calling up RuPaul. It's calling RuPaul. I was like, hello, RuPaul. Guess what? My show is eating, and yours may not be. Like,
no,
like it should. Like, turns a look every time. The drama is right. He literally just sits back and does nothing. The drama breeds itself. Last episode took me the fuck out because up until. If y'all, I mean, this is on Tuesday. This episode comes out. So if y'all haven't watched it yet,
if y'all have not listened to the episode, if y'all not have seen the show,
has played a fantastic game, and I will say, this is what happens. That's what happens when you become too stressed about the game, bitch. You fuck up because she got stressed and she fucked up, right? Danielle be out here doing crocodile tears this entire time, and this episode she tightened the fuck up out of nowhere. Which I mean, go out, girl, but also like, damn. But Carolyn, like, you set yourself up, girl. You was out here being dumb, like you made dumb decisions because she felt backed against the corner, and I get why, right? And so I'm mad about that. And I'm mad that she got banished, but I also was like, girl, like, you played yourself.
Yeah.
But the drama was just so, because there was a moment where, because I went into this roundtable.
The gag is she could have gotten Danielle out last episode. She really could have.
The thing is though, like, she said to Danielle's face, I don't trust you. And so when you say that, girl, she don't have your best interest at heart. Like, and example, I think she was right to say, let's not invite Brittany because I absolutely could not. There's a world in which Danielle and Brittany do not sell Carolyn out. Right. Now I do think Brittany will also sell Danielle down the river like that for sure. But Carolyn sealed her fate when she told Danielle that she don't trust her, and then she sealed her fate even further when she was out here playing the damn game. Girl, like it's sad because literally, because I don't know if you're watching YouTube, but on YouTube they have videos of the banished meeting, like the banished meets the murdered every episode.
Oh wow,
which is really and then they reveal who the traitors were and they're like reacting to it. Every single person that has read these letters are like, Danielle is not playing a good game and Carolyn's playing the amazing game. And this episode it flipped. And there's a moment where I was like, so it's okay. So Danielle came at Carolyn hot. She gave receipts and Carolyn did not have a good rebuttal. And I was like, girl, you have to come in prepared. But then Carolyn got into her white girl bag and started busting out these tears.
And that's where she messed up. She let it get her.
For a moment, like, for a moment, she had me. She had because for a moment I was like, no, Danielle. Even if I know the truth, the alligator tears are working for me. Yeah. But Danielle, and I'll give her this. Danielle said, "You want to play the tears game, bitch? I'll give you tears," and gave us tears as well too. And people were out here believing it. I don't believe Danielle's tears because the way she acted when Carolyn was banished, it was kind of like, girl.
You're doing a lot.
You're doing a lot
right
now.
Girl.
Like,
running off the camera. And doing all that stuff,
it was
girl,
the run. The run took me out. I was like, why did she run off
that
camera?
That run and that fucking hat. I am so over her and these terrible hats. Danielle, take them braids down. I am sure somewhere in Scotland they have jail for you to do something. A natural.
Look, okay. I heard that they don't even sleep in the castle. They sleep in a hotel near the castle.
Yeah, they sleep in a hotel down the street.
Girl, go down to the town square and find some jail for you, sis.
There.
Like, come on now.
They'll
find a beauty supply real quick. Just like,
I'm sure they got Amazon over there. You can Amazon yourself some hair stuff.
Alan got money. Alan can make it happen.
Somebody can get you.
I know you have. You have stylists. You have stylists there for somebody. You can just make it work. But
I laughed when they said that that the black girl stylist left when her hair is fault. Somebody said that her hair looks that way because they sent all the black girls.
Listen, because Danielle, right, is I think is the last black person.
She is, yeah.
And
well, Black Dolores is still there. What? She is. I will forever call her Black Dolores because of Wendy Williams.
Is Dolores actually black?
She's not black. She's Italian. Okay. But she's Black Dolores to me.
Okay, so because I scream.
Wendy started it, and I'm going to finish it. She's Black Dolores.
I love Dolores. I love Dolores so much. She is.
Me too.
Fine.
I hope she wins.
If she wins, I will be so happy.
I will also be happy because I'm not rooting for anybody.
So
want Tom. Tom is the cokehead, right?
Yeah,
he's the base head.
Okay,
I want him to go home too.
Tom is fantastic television because I don't know what game he's playing. I don't know what game he's playing. He is playing not checkers. He is playing Go Fish, and they're playing chess. Literally,
no.
Because the way he thinks about, I'm like, your suspicions are so wrong, and the way he thought he was the answer to several questions was so fucking funny. Who's the leader? I think it's me. Tom.
No.
Ain't no one think it's you, boo.
Everyone's like, what?
You. Okay.
Because you got pinwheels for eyes.
It was so funny. That boy is jumpy. No, could people be like Tom's like this because he's detoxing on the show? The show is detox.
It's very evident that it's very evident that he's detoxing
going through the withdrawals because it is wild. But yeah, anyways, that's my opinion. The show was fantastic. I live with it.
It is great TV. Ooh. And for those of you who have not watched it up to this point, so sorry. So there's one point that I want to make, and then we can go ahead and close the show. I wanted to say the reason why I forget what her name is, the one who won the first season, is because she made everybody think that they were her favorite person. And that's the game of of traders that I've learned watching it through the way I watch it. You cannot play the game even I know everybody was so all up in arms when Boston Rob? I call him Boston Bob. Boston Rob was there. Everybody was like, oh, Boston Rob is here. Where he fucked up was when he went after Bob the drag queen. And because it became too personal. And so that is the thing that who am I? I'm not on any of these shows, right? But I've learned by just watching the show, if you're going to be a traitor, you have to make everybody believe that even if you don't fuck with them and you don't like them, they still have to, in their heart of hearts, believe that they are special to you. And you just have to play a game of I'm here to be cool with everybody, even if you're not cool with people. That's where I feel like all of the traders fucked up. Carolyn's demise was Danielle. Danielle's demise is going to be trying to, If Brittany joins, Brittany's gonna be her demise. Oh yeah,
which to me is gaggy. I'm like, you came into the show, bawling your eyes out, seeing Brittany because how she betrayed you in
Big Brother.
In Big Brother, just to be on her side. And let me tell you right now,
she gonna turn around and bite you the same way that you bit her. And I'm waiting for it. I'm really waiting for it. Like I said, all my cards though are I'm throwing all my cards into the hat of Black Dolores. I hope she wins. So anyway, all that to be said, send us your thoughts, your feedback, and your email to blackfatfempod@gmail.com. You can also send your thoughts via social media by interacting with our post on Instagram and Blue Sky. Just letting you all know we are not on X. I had people say, oh, we don't see you on X anymore. We're not on X anymore.
For a reason.
That was a personal choice. We just felt like it was not a healthy place for us to be as a show and as people. And so we have left. But we are on TikTok. We are also on YouTube where you can watch these episodes and they are free. They are not behind a paywall. So that is, kudos to us for not putting stuff behind a paywall because there are a lot of shows out there that do. So with that being said, Queen Joho, where can the dolls find you?
My sweet babes, you can find me at Joho Downs across all the socials, including Blue Sky, or my website at JohnDowns.com. And if not there, you will find me posing as John's PR consultant and date of event coordinator to make sure shit does not pop off. And we are moving. Put that book down, bitch. This bitch does not belong here. They need to go. John, go. This is your mark, baby. Go to the spotlight.
Right.
I will happily
get me together.
Take it. Okay, I'll be making sure no one fucks with you at this event. I'll be making sure. Press no questions. I'm so sorry.
No questions.
Until John has been briefed. Do not have.
Hello.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, my God.
This is not a talk back. This is a talk at. I'm so sorry. In conversation with one
person.
No
questions,
only,
please.
Nobody else. So sorry. Thank you.
TBH, you ain't going to have time to ask no questions. Anyway, all that to be said.
you gotta get in, you gotta get out, okay?
Get in and get out, my God. Buy the book and go home. But with that being said, as for me and my household, you can find me over at www.drjonpaul.com, where I will be pushing the link for folks to buy the book. We have we're almost close to 30 days to the release of my book. So if you have not pre-ordered it, you can at my website, or you can head over to Barnes & Noble. You can go to your local bookstore. I even know people who have friends who work at bookstores that they've told to purchase the book and things. So that has been very helpful. But thank you so much. Go down to the onlines and to the Googles. If you've got $25 for Starbucks or to spend at Target, you've got $25 to buy my book. So I just want to make sure that I put that out there.
You should not be at other places right now.
Either of them. So okay. I'm just saying. With that being said, we want to thank our producer, Bei Wang, for handling all the logistics and keeping the show up and running, and everyone over at iHeartMedia for supporting us as we continue to take over the airwaves. Amen, amen, amen. We would also like to shout out a wonderful friend to the show and editor, Chris Rogers, who, without them, we would not have visuals. So I'm just sitting here and I'm going, Beyonce, what is the what's the end game? What is I want to know. No, and I'm not even being messy. I would love to know what her thought process is in not giving us visuals for either one of these albums. I want to know.
Same. I'll wait. I'll bite my tongue until after the third album drops.
Which will be next year.
The third tour. By the third tour, there's not a feature film.
So you're saying you're going to hold your tongue to 2027? Because that's what's going to happen, right? We'll get the album next year, and then we'll get the tour in 2027. If we're still here, because there is a comment coming our way.
Listen.
There is. They said that there was a comment that's coming our way. And I just also want to say that there are still 2 people floating out in space that cannot come home. I want to know what that's about too. But anyway, random tangent. We need to wrap this shit up. This has been another show.
This is getting conspiracy theories, bitch. Not NASA gonna come for us.
What are you saying? What?
I said not NASA about to come for us, girl. You giving conspiracy theories.
We've gotten in trouble by so many people this episode. My God. This has been another show. Stay black, fat, femme, and fabulous. And remember what, Joho?
We may not be your cup of tea, but girl, bebidas más agua. Drink some water. You probably need anyways.
Yes.
Okay. Y punto.
Yes. Como la flor. Yes, come on. Drink some agua, bitch, because you probably need it anyway. I love us for real. Bye.